Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to go on a very fun garden tour, one of my favorite gardens in the whole entire world, my mama's garden. We have been here a couple of times before. We haven't been here this season. Life just kind of got away from us and we realized, oh my goodness, we have not come to Mimi's garden. So here we are today. Just as a refresher, we are in North Carolina, a zone 7B, just kind of west of Charlotte. And yeah, so here we are at my mama's house. They live very close to us, just really, so we're kind of what we call country neighbors. And I thought it would be fun to come take a tour of Mimi's garden because her garden is completely different than what I deal with. They have been here in their house for almost 45 years. So this is a very well established garden, but it's really only been about the past 11-12 years since Mama retired from teaching that she has really devoted a ton of time into the garden. Before she just didn't have time. Now that she's retired, this is what she loves to do, and she spends just about all the time outside in her garden, tinkering here and there. She also, as you can tell, lives under tons of pine trees. This is just where they built their house 45 years ago. Clearly the trees have grown up. Huge, beautiful pine trees. There are some hardwoods in here as well. And also, she has zero irrigation for her garden. So anything that gets watered, either she is doing it by hand or the good Lord is providing the rain. So she definitely has to garden thinking of dry shade because she physically cannot water every single thing. So that's her mindset when she is planning her garden. This is the spot behind us, right here along the driveway, between the driveway and the house. This little pocket, when I was growing up, was grass. But as the trees have grown and provided more shade, she just gave up on grass and was just not worth it and has turned the entire thing into a flower bed. This is her sunniest location in her whole yard. So you will see that she has jam-packed it full of all of her sun-loving plants. We are here at about 7:30ish in the morning, and so it'll hit sun at different times of the day. So it'll go some sun, some shade, back to sun, kind of and so forth. So she has in here just a whole mixture of shrubs, perennials, annuals. It is a massive pollinator magnet because she's got salvias and pentas, those things that are the annuals that really attract the pollinators this time of year. We've got some, we got a bumblebee down here that's sound asleep. They are just covering this place. And the hummingbirds will come through, zip through here all the time. In fact, yep, I just heard one chirp at me. She's over there. So there's the hummingbirds and the pollinators everywhere. She does do, you will notice, that she has kind of her ground covering. She does not use a ton of, like where we use the hardwood mulch. She uses a combination of like leaf litter that she herself has collected and made. It has, of course, a little bit of some sticks and some fines in there. So she just has a great kind of selection all over here, uses the ground cover of those pine, well, she does use pine bark fines, but also the leaf litter, and then of course pine needles, right? Because that's just what is here. So she's got everything in here. These are tough stuff hydrangeas. I've talked to you before about the tough stuff because this is kind of that weird area of the sun and the shade. She struggled for several years trying to figure out which was the best hydrangea to be here, and she's got 3 tough stuff, and look how beautiful they are. Huge, massive tough stuff. Clearly they're on the end of their bloom cycle, right? So these are those aged blooms on them that have turned just a lovely kind of a rose mauve color. But with the tough stuff, you don't want to prune them, right? Because they bloom on that older growth. They are a lace cap, as you can see, but just beautiful. Even here with the heat and the humidity, she still has new growth. So just, this has been a fantastic solution for her in this kind of that dry shade but yet has enough sun. She can't do a panicle here because it doesn't get enough sun, but she can't do really a big leaf hydrangea because it gets a little bit too much sun. Tough Stuff was a perfect solution for her in this space, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And then I love Mama's yard because she has these wonderful little paths that run through her garden. And I will say that this garden tour is not, I'm not going to focus specifically on like exact plants, but just kind of the idea and just to get you thinking of ideas. So my folks who have that woodland garden shade, I know sometimes it can be problematic trying to figure out how to design a bed. So this is that inspiration. Let's look at different gardens. We were just at Ronnie and Amber's. They have a brand new landscape, lots of sun. Here we come to a mature garden that has dry shade. So there's, my gosh, there's a garden for everybody. But she has these great paths coming through here. She does love her birds as much as I do. So she's got bird baths and bird feeders everywhere. They're just, you know, tweeting and having a good time. But right through here, she's got like the pink salvia and the pentas. The hummingbirds are going nuts. I think they're mad at us because they're chirping up in the trees right now because we're standing here. But just, there goes one right now. So they're everywhere in through here, but she's got brunaria in here. This is a fantastic, this is that spigelia, which is just starting, it's really kind of on its end of its bloom cycle, but this is the a fantastic native plant that you will see more like in the mountains of North Carolina and in the southeast rather, but it has beautiful red blooms on it that has a little spike. Once it opens up, it'll have a little bit of a yellow burst to it. The hummingbirds just love this plant. So Mama is quite the eclectic gardener as far as like when she goes and visits different gardens and garden centers, she grabs plants that really speak to her. Of course, because she has fantastic gardener friends, they share plants all the time. So this tends to be her a little bit more of a shade right up here to the house. Lots of ferns in here. This is where Aunt Bonnie's fern came from. So if you remember at the nursery where the old refrigerator is, and I have that area, these are Aunt Bonnie's ferns that are just very happy. So she's got Aunt Bonnie's ferns. She's got perennial maidenhair ferns. I love maidenhair ferns. They're so light and delicate. This is the perennial variety. And you can see all this new growth on it. Very fun. She's got a ghost fern. This is that Japanese painted fern. So it has that beautiful color, but it has some height to it. She's got a little bit of collection of everything in here. And then look at this hosta. Look at this baby. This is a blue angel and it is mammoth. It is huge. Loves life right here. I know that she did, so they have a spigot around here somewhere, and it has, because the house is, it's 45 years old, things don't work quite as well, it had a slow drip, so she went ahead and connected a soaker hose to it, and it's not turned on, but it just has that little slow drip, so she does have, or she did at least, have a soaker hose running through here, so there was a little bit of consistent moisture. Clearly, Blue Angel is loving life right here, as are the pulmonaria. Look how huge these things are. This is a massive pulmonaria. I'm pretty sure that this is shrimps on the Barbie. We had this several years ago, multiple years ago now, at the nursery, and so she grabbed some of them. I mean, this plant is massive, just like the other pulmonaria that we know and love. Beautiful foliage with those polka dots. We'll have those really nice pink blooms early in the spring, and just is huge. She's got 3 or 4 of them down through here and are just growing wonderful. She's got hostas dotted through there that can handle the more sun, right? Because they are that brighter limey green, so they can handle more sun. Her more shade stuff is up closer to the house, but it's just a whole collection of, she has some of those same plants repeated, right? Her annuals are repeated through there, but then she has more sun on the outside, coming in, the more shade here. Fantastic. And Mama definitely does plan for 4 seasons of gardening. So she's got something in here for all the seasons. When we were here last year, I think it was last year, you know, time gets away from me. These are all of her azaleas, and these azaleas are older. They are older than I am. She had pruned them back pretty severe. I think it was the spring that we did the video, and it was like they were in gorgeous, massive bloom. Once they were done with their blooms, she came in and pruned them pretty severe. They have come back really nicely, nice and full. So if you have those old-timey hydrangeas, listen to me, azaleas, you want to prune them immediately after they bloom, because they do bloom on old growth, and so you want to prune them so they have time to rejuvenate, put on all that nice sweet new foliage, so that the next spring you get beautiful blooms. This is a menagerie of colors because my grandmama gave her these. She found a great deal on them way back in the 70s, and they didn't know what color they were, and they just planted them. So it's just this beautiful collections of those whites and those pinks and all sorts of fun things. So coming on through, and I will tell you too, my daddy is a woodworker, and so throughout Mama's garden she has such fun, whimsical things that my daddy has made. So this is like a bird feeder that Daddy made. It is on, I think this is a cedar, maybe it's cedar, a cedar post that he had found. So he just will create things for her that are just unique, fun, funky, whatever strikes his fancy, whatever kind of materials he has laying around, he will use that. So throughout her garden, you will see a lot of whimsical, fun things, either that Daddy has made her, she has found in all of her garden tours that she does with her friends. So lots of fun things, and she does, because I know that people will ask, throughout her gardens she has quite a collection of the Lyman Whitaker wind sculptures. She began collecting these, gosh, it's been multiple years now, but Lyman Whitaker is the one who makes these wind sculptures, and so throughout her garden she has these. It's the same artist. We have one in the trial gardens, so I know people are going to ask about that. You have to go to a local, find an art gallery that will sell them, but it's Lyman Whitaker. I believe he's out of like Arizona, and just beautiful, really unique pieces that just take a little bit of wind, and man, they just have lots of fun. Now Mama has her biggest problem, next to being dry shade, is that she deals with voles very badly. And the voles in the last, gosh, 3-4 years have been a major issue for her. So she has been trying to eradicate them. She's trying to protect her plants. But if you have voles, you know, 1 minute they're great and the next minute they're gone. So she will have a lot of plants in pots, because that is a way that she can protect her plants and know that they will not get in there. Here we have just an absolutely gorgeous hosta. This is stained glass. Mama tries to label her things. So this is a beautiful stained glass hosta in a pot, so she now knows that it is nice and protected. But by putting it in a pot, she also knows that means she has to come hand water it. So there is a little bit of a give and take situation. But like, again, fun, whimsical things. These are just, you know, logs that have just been aged naturally, that they got off of their property in South Carolina. They brought it in, and here you have a sculpture. So zero money spent. Fun, whimsical, think outside the box, have a lot of fun in here. So yeah, really neat. And then she has just a whole selection, of course, of different hydrangeas. She's got beautiful oak leaves. She's got the mop heads, all sorts of fun, dry shade hydrangeas that bring gorgeous color all throughout here. This is, let's see, I can't even tell. So this is really fun. I don't even know this one. Double Delights Stargazer, is that what that is? Yeah, Double Delights Stargazer. Look at that, really fun, cute. This must be new. Jimmy hasn't seen this before. Beautiful lace cap, very happy, clearly is loving life, beautiful dark green foliage, and look at that. Look at those sweet little blooms on that. I love that. I wonder where she got that. And then she has tons of Lenten roses. Lenten roses do fantastic for her because, again, that dry shade do wonderful. I love how she has taken out this hollowed out log and she has put a Japanese painted fern in there. Really fun, right? Big interest there, nice and neat. She has, when she has the vole problems, at the beginning she was trying to make her own cages, and then we tested out, I actually gave them to her to test out these bags, and we actually did a video in her garden where we were kind of demonstrating how to use these bags. But if you can see right here, this is a wire mesh bag, very flexible as far as like being able to work with it. But basically you take the plant and you put it inside the bag and then you bury it, right? So the spine roots can go through there, but the voles can't get to those main section of roots, and so your plants will be alive. So she's got some of those. Look at this fun. She put a Florida Sunshine Elysium in here, big bold pop of color. Remember when I tell you you've got a shrub, go with the biggest pot your space will allow. So this is a nice big pot. Clearly this plant is very happy. It's covered in new growth. So again, bring some height to your garden. It's protected from the voles and it's nice and big so that the shrub will do really well in here. This bed has always been one of my favorites, and this bed is, as long as I can remember, has always been here. We did have, growing up, grass out through here, but this was always a flower bed, and the rhododendron was always there. I don't know where she got it, but it has always been here. You can see a fun, funky birdhouse that Daddy made her, some pottery pieces, but in here, it is that great collection of Lenten roses, different ferns, some shrubs, all sorts of grasses, where she can just let things naturalize. And that's the beautiful thing about a great shade garden. For me, it's very peaceful looking, right? Because you could almost see this like just occurring naturally in nature. There's not simply, you know, just a pocket of a fern here. They're dotted throughout because they've naturalized and they have spread. And so that is just the sign of a mature garden, is that they are able to, you know, they're happy, they spread out. We don't have any bully plants in here. Nobody's like super invasive, lots of different textures. Even though right now we're basically all green here in the middle, the end of July, but you've got textures and height and different shades of green. Beautiful, absolutely lovely. And then we're gonna flip around and we're gonna go around to one of, she spends a lot of time out here. We call it just out next to the walnut field. Does really nice. Look at this. Look at this one. This is called Midnight Duchess. I do appreciate that Mama has lots of signs, little name tags for her plants, because otherwise it'd be like, yeah, this is a really pretty. This is really pretty, but it has really black stems. It kind of reminds me of that zebra hydrangea that I have. Black stems, but it's the lace cap. So it's not that mop head. It's a beautiful lace cap. Very happy. I mean, my gosh, the foliage on this is just stunning. Nice big size to it, but it's not overwhelming. And then underneath it, she has got, and all around it, a whole nother selection of perennials underneath it. So she's got some brunaria, she's got some more ferns, she's got eucharis, Lenten roses back there, cast iron plant, just all sorts of fun things all together. Now, over here, oh, I do love this. Oh, look at that. Look how stinking cute that is. I have no idea where she got that. But look at that little planter. So it's like a little cast iron trough that she has hanging from the tree with 2 eucharis in it. So Mama uses, obviously, tons and tons of perennials. She really just accents in certain little locations with those annuals. But by far, this she is a shrub perennial gardener, and so you will see that a lot in her garden. This area is really fun. She has been developing this really since she retired, and it is just, again, really fun. So she has the walnut field, the walnut trees back there, clearly full sun, and the sun will set about right here. So this will get kind of afternoon filtered sun. So she kind of has to play around with that. But of course, most of the day it is in the shade. She has got a beautiful unique stone Savannah urn. That's what we love about unique stone. She's only had this maybe a year, but it has that beautiful patina to it, and it looks like that even though it is a relatively new piece of pottery, that it's been here for absolutely forever. And all she did is she's got that beautiful collection, again, of 2 different hostas in there, the Japanese painted ferns, and it is just, it works. It's gorgeous. It brings height to the garden. The gorgeous Savannah urn from Unique Stone is just fantastic. This is Ancient Age. She loves Ancient Age. That is definitely her color as far as it goes. But you can see, again, more of the Lyman Whitakers in here, oak leaf hydrangeas, and then just tons of more fun ferns. This is, let's see, a leopard lily right here. Finds all sorts of fun, funky stuff. And then I do love this, what's their spider web, excuse me. That's the downside of coming in the garden first in the morning, is that you get all the spider webs. Daddy built this gazebo for her. I'll never forget, we came when he was building it, and that's when we found out we were pregnant with Jackson. And so that would have been the, 12, almost 13, 13 years ago now. So this has been here for 13 years, never will forget that. And this is a jasmine that she has grown on it. This is a Confederate jasmine. And she only has 2 plants in here, and it has just done a magnificent job of climbing. She has to keep it pruned up, of course, but there's only 2. There's one here, and then there's one over there, and it just goes up. And in this, when it blooms, it is just, you just want to come and just spend all day here, because it is the most magnificent, delicious smelling vine you have ever seen. Does really well. She does have a weather vane up top, but the jasmine has taken over it, and you can't even see that anymore. She's got, oh shoot, what was the name of this plant? It just went, Jerry, help me out. Not Edgeworthia? What? Edgeworthia. Yeah, Edgeworthia. Y'all, I've had my 1 cup of coffee this morning, but Edgeworthia, yes, sorry, I thought it was, and then I was like, no, that's not right. Yes, it is. So Edgeworthia is a great shrub that in the summer, of course, it has beautiful leaves on it, but what's fantastic about the Edgeworthia is that in late winter, it will do these creamy white yellow blooms on it that smell divine. Absolutely just intoxicating. They will get to be a nice size. So definitely though on the shade side. So we've got those. And then like I was telling you, lots of fun whimsy in here. She found some stained glass. I have no idea where she got these, y'all. These are all different things that she has gotten in, because she is a master gardener. So with her master gardener group, they do tons of tours, garden centers. So these are things that she has found all along her way of her collection, and travels with gardening. And so that's the thing. Get out there and go visit garden centers. When you're on vacation, take, a couple of hours and go visit a local independent garden center. I guarantee they will have lots of fun, whimsical things. Go visit your co-ops of artists. They will have things for outdoors, I guarantee it. And that's where you can find lots of fun things. The oak leaf hydrangeas in here. Look at these grasses. Are they not gorgeous? I'm not sure which one this is, but it is clearly a beautiful one. That lime green is handling it. Oh, here we go. I think there's a tag. Oh, so this is Everillo. So the Everillo will give us, it is a Carex, will give us that great lime green chartreuse color. Sometimes we really struggle with that here in the South. And so she's got a collection of them of 5, and they are just doing great. So this is encouraging. So if you ever find the Everillo Carex, this would be a great one to add to your garden. Clearly it has been here for a long time because this is quite an established plant. Beautiful color though, love that. Let's see, let's go look at some hydrangeas and right here on the edge of the field. Lots of beautiful, she's got lilies, she's got the different phloxes, she's got the pineapple euonymus, I believe that one is, and then this massive fig tree. So this fig tree was from my grandmother's. Took a piece of a cutting off of grandmama's fig tree. Look how huge it is. Again, not on irrigation, folks, and it is doing great. It is covered in figs. We do battle around here when the figs get ready is all the wildlife. They like to come, and of course, right, it's a tasty little treat for them, especially like the raccoons and the possums. They love to come up and climb up and get the figs. But if you can you see how many are in here? They're just all over the place. And Mom and Daddy have a Doberman, and Rosie has figured out that figs are tasty too. So she will come, and when they're ready, the ones that she can reach, she will eat off of the tree. But these figs are fantastic. I have a piece of this tree as well at my house. Not nearly as big as this one, but is growing and doing really well. It too is covered in fruit. So we are anxiously awaiting for that fruit to ripen so that we can partake of some delicious figs. Again, this is gonna be one of her sunnier spots in through here. We'll tiptoe right through here. Out here, again, more salvias, lots of lantanas. She has the blue chiffon rose of Sharon tree here as well. Lots of great native grasses. She's got serendipity in here. She also will throw in some mixes of some herbs. So she's got some like oregano and thyme, because of course those are great perennials for us in here. But this is her millennium allium, and you can see that it is just starting to go to those beautiful flowers. No irrigation, folks, none out here. Now, if she had irrigation, would things be bigger? Probably so, but you know what? She's working with what she's got. They don't want to have to come in here and put tons of irrigation, so they've chosen not to, and Mama just makes it work, right? Yeah, it's a lot of work on her, but she's so funny. If you've ever met my mama, she's quite a little spitfire. And she says, Jenny, if I stop moving, that's when you start dying. So I'm not going to stop moving. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Okay, that sounds like a good plan for me. And so some spireas and coneflowers. She just has that wonderful, you can see where I get that eclectic cottage look, because that is what my mama has. And I just find it very peaceful and loving. Fantastic. I want to flip around. I want to show you some hydrangeas right down here, panicles that are just gorgeous. All right, so all I did was just kind of flip the camera around, and as we go down, you can see yet another one of Daddy's creations, a cute little birdhouse that he used, doorknobs and window pull, like drawer pulls, all sorts of fun little things. So cute, so stinking cute. So as we go through, she's got some beautiful canna lilies. This is, look at her Russian sage. Look at it, really tall. Yeah, it's a little tall, but if she had more sun, it would probably be a little bit tighter and compacter. But we've got dragonflies on here. The pollinators just love the Russian sage, so it is fantastic in here. And then over here, she has got these are phantom hydrangeas, panicle hydrangeas. Remember, we planted some phantoms at our house, just really nice, pure white blooms on them. That really fun, nice height to them, big interest this time of year because they are just absolutely gorgeous with those pure white blooms, and gives a nice big presence to her garden. She actually has 3 in here, but you can see that just brings that nice big kind of pop of color to this area and is really, really nice. And so she just has all sorts of fun things. I do want to show you another hydrangea. Now right now it is not in full bloom because it's an earlier bloomer, but I want you to see what happens when you have a mature garden and you're able to leave plants for a certain amount of times. One, this is another Edgeworthia. So this is, I think the other one she had just planted like in the last year. This one is more established. Look how big and beautiful this thing is. Isn't it stunning? Can't you just imagine standing here about February, March, and it's covered in blooms? Oh my goodness, it would just be intoxicating and so happy. And with your Edgeworthia, you want to put them in a space where you don't have to prune them. I'm looking down into the plant. She's never pruned this plant before. So you want to give it plenty of room to get nice and big. The leaves on them, because it is deciduous, the leaves almost have like a soft feel to them, a little bit reminiscent of a lamb's ear. So nice, big, beautiful, well-established, happy plant. This is, this is even a bigger one. Look at that. Oh my goodness, y'all. Fantastic. But what I wanted to show you was this oak leaf hydrangea. This oak leaf has been here, I don't know how long. I remember when my Emily was about a year old and we came and we would always come to Mama's garden to take the baby pictures, right? And so Emily was sitting here in front of this Solomon seal, and that oak leaf was maybe the size of the Edgeworthia. Emily's almost 18 now, so that was 16, 17 years ago. But look how huge this thing is. Massive. You can see it was covered in blooms, absolutely covered. I do not know which variety this is, but that is the beautiful thing about your oak leaves, depending on which kind, right? Because now they make more petite ones. But when you don't, because you don't want to prune an oak leaf hydrangea, you want to plant it and let it go. Just massive and huge blooms on it. Now they're going into that late summer, perfect for fall kind of coloring to it. And oak leaves, their leaves will turn a beautiful red burgundy color, so it has great fall interest to it. But this thing is just massive. Underneath she has that Solomon seal. She's let it naturalize, and then tons of Lenten roses. And these are the Lenten roses that are, lack of a better word, the old-timey ones that will naturalize on their own. So if you've been to the nursery and you see that I have little baby Lenten roses underneath in the pines area, it's because Mama's been trying to thin them out, and she comes down and brings them down to the nursery, which I absolutely love. But it's just so fun to visit other gardens. So I would really encourage you, as you go through life and you have opportunities to visit, whether it's friends' gardens or public gardens, whatever you can do, different garden centers, especially if they have areas where they have tried to develop some gardens, get out there and visit those gardens, because even if you don't have dry shade, I guarantee that you will be able to walk away being inspired. You will get some ideas that you can tweak and adapt and put into your yard. So get out there and explore, right? And if you can't, maybe you can't physically get out of the house, get on YouTube, right? There's fantastic garden tours out there, but just get out there, talk to people, take those opportunities to explore new and different areas, especially maybe as you travel to different parts that are outside of your region. I guarantee you will feel inspired and get ideas. But yeah, love this garden. It's very peaceful and it's very quiet and very serene. And I appreciate my mama letting me come again, hijack her garden. She was like, well, it's not it's not very much in bloom right now, Jenny. And I'm like, Mama, it is absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And that's what I love about her garden, is that it transitions, like you know what season it is. You don't always have to have like massive blooms everywhere, because that's not life. That's not the year, right? We have seasons and we go through seasons, and I love that her garden reflects those seasons. As always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.